Hey guys, I'm watching this video. I just wanna
of eBay and every one of the
other video. I'm doing another video. I have to be quiet. Who's that one? Yeah, that one.
LastPass is a password manager. You'll never need to write down, remember, or reset a password.
What's up, guys? Back with another one. Today I decided to do something a little different. I recently found this story that is just blowing up online, going completely viral. And if you thought my life was paranormal, wait till you see this guy's story that we're about to talk about, guys. This is just incredible. The story of Dear David. The link for this can be found in the description, guys. Go check it out. It's an incredible story. But today we're going to be telling you the entire story as we know so far. This has all been taking place on Twitter by the username Adam Ellis, guys. So it started Monday, August 7th, 2017. This has 55,000 retweets. This guy don't do YouTube. He doesn't do anything. He's not a social media star until this story began surfacing, guys. And this is an ongoing thing. 55,000 retweets is clear evidence that there's something going on with this guy's story. And there's thousands of people who actually believe this, guys. I personally already read everything last night about this story. And to be honest, guys, I believe this story. Right now, we're gonna go through the entire story, guys. He's got pictures, he's got videos. As you see up here, this is Dear David, guys. That is Dear David. This thing looks so creepy, and you guys will learn more about David as we go into the story, guys. Okay, so the very first tweet, Monday, August 7th, 2017. So, my apartment is currently being haunted by the ghost of a dead child, and he's trying to kill me. Like I said, guys, 55,000 retweets, 77,000 likes on this, okay? And you will soon see why there's so much attention to this story, guys. I just had to show you guys this. He started appearing in my dreams, but I think he's crossed over into the real world. The first time I saw him, I was experiencing sleep paralysis and saw a child sitting in the green rocking chair at the foot of my bed. And guys, if you don't know what sleep paralysis is, it's basically when you wake up and you can't move, and basically the dream world is still in the room with you. And this can be a very terrifying experience for many people who experience sleep paralysis. Me, as a kid, I experienced sleep paralysis on a regular basis, and for the longest time, I thought I was being abducted by aliens because I saw this like shadow figure thing come close to my bed, and it was the most terrifying thing ever. Later, I learned that it wasn't aliens, it was just called sleep paralysis, and since about 10 years, I haven't experienced sleep paralysis. Thank God, because it's the most scary thing I could ever imagine. So this guy is apparently an artist, and he was kind enough to draw what he saw in his sleep paralysis for us, guys. And isn't that the most crazy thing I've ever seen, guys? Like, what is going on with his head? He just looks like some demonic child. If I saw that in my room at nighttime, I would seriously die, okay? Like, this is the most scariest drawing I've ever seen, guys. So he goes on to say he had a huge misshapen head that was dented on one side. I did my best to draw it, and like we said, guys, this is the drawing. As you see clearly, there is a big dent in his head. So he says, for a while he just stared at me, but then he got out of the chair and started shambling towards the bed. I couldn't move because I was paralyzed. I have sleep paralysis fairly often. It sucks. And let me tell you guys, it does really suck. And I can totally understand where he's coming from because I myself have experienced sleep paralysis, like I said. Right before he reached my bed, I woke up screaming. And guys, if that creature or child or whatever that is came up to me in my sleep, well, really, sleep paralysis is when you're awake, you just can't move. So if this happened to me, guys, I would be definitely tweeting about it too, and that would definitely be something I would scream about, guys. So then he goes on to say, I had another dream a few nights later where I was in a library and a girl came up to me and said, you've seen Dear David, haven't you? How would this girl know that he saw Dear David? I was like, who? And she said, Dear David, you saw him. Now, at this point, guys, I'm pretty sure he didn't know the name of whatever he saw in his dream, but this girl apparently knows that he's been seeing this dented, shaped head little boy, and apparently his name is Dear David. She continued, he's dead. He only appears at midnight, and you can ask him 2 questions if you said Dear David first. Then she added, but never try to ask him a 3rd question or he'll kill you. Adam then tweets, I was very shaken. Having 2 dreams about the same thing is pretty weird. Anyways, a couple weeks passed without incident. Then David came back in another dream, same situation. I was in bed and he was sitting in the rocking chair near the window staring at me. In the dream, I say, Dear David, how did you die? He mumbles, an accident in a store. I say, Dear David, what happened in the store? He groans, a shelf was pushed onto my head. And I guess that's how he got his misshapen head, guys. Pretty bad way to die, if you ask me. I'm frozen with fear. I asked, who pushed the shelf? And David doesn't answer. By the way, guys, that's the 3rd time. Apparently, Dear David is supposed to kill you if you ask him more than 2 questions. I realize that I've asked a 3rd question, which I'm not supposed to do. At that point, I wake up absolutely terrified, which I would be too, because, man, if I kept dreaming about the same thing over and over and over again, I would begin to wonder, hey, is this really a dream, or could this be something paranormal? Which I definitely think is the case for this, which you'll see why. What's up, guys? Back with part 2 of the Dear David story. If you didn't watch my video yesterday, go check that out right now. I FaceTimed Dear David. It actually worked, guys. We got photo evidence of Dear David. And in that video, I told you guys I would tell you how I got Dear David's number. So today, before we start reading the rest of the Dear David story, I'm going to tell you how I actually got Dear David's number. Before we do that, guys, in case you don't know what Dear David is, basically, he's a demonic ghost boy who first started appearing in a guy's dream on Twitter named Adam Ellis. He is the creator of Dear David. Before Adam Ellis started tweeting on Twitter about Dear David, nobody knew who he actually was. So how did I get a dead boy's phone number? If you guys have watched my part 1 of the Dear David story, you guys would know that Dear David first appeared in Adam Ellis's dreams. And a couple weeks ago, I had bought these lucid dreaming pills. They're called Dreamly. These pills allow me to lucid dream pretty much whenever I want. Whenever I take these pills, I can lucid dream that night. About 90% of the time, it works. So for the last couple days, I've been taking these lucid dreaming pills. You guys can watch the video I did about these pills, link in the description. And if you guys want to try these pills for yourself, link for that is also in the description. So lucid dreaming is really cool. You can fly around, you can do whatever you want. Anything you can imagine will happen inside your dream. Lucid dreaming means you're totally aware of what you're dreaming and you become the creator of the dream world. If you want a Lamborghini, poof, it's there. So I took these pills, started lucid dreaming, and then I imagined Dear David in my room, guys. This was very scary for me to do. Like, really, really scary. And what do you know? I saw Dear David. I actually saw Dear David in my room, just like Adam Ellis did, and I asked him what his phone number was. Dear David didn't answer me. He was just staring at me, guys. So I asked him, does the first number save it? Anyways, guys, we're gonna be reading the rest of the Dear David story today. We're about halfway through the official story on Adam Ellis's Twitter. This is where we left off, guys. We left off right at this green chair. This green chair is where Adam Ellis first saw Dear David in his room. He woke up one night, looked at his green rocking chair, and Dear David